for everybody coming here. Like, today is Tuesday night. I haven't lost my day of the week. So we're going to talk about gamification. It's introduction to gamification. My name is Christina. I'm a founder of Free to Grow. It's my second company. It's in the game area. Today the agenda is I'm going to talk about, oh, this is a weird shape, the definition of gamification first of all, because most people, probably all of you are new to gamification. So I'll talk about what is gamification and more importantly, what isn't gamification. And I'll take you, this class is supposed to be very practical. So I'll take you through some discussions and actually having a gamification process in your hand to take you through that process. And at the end of it, I hope you can simply design a gamification project, very simple one, so that you get the practical aspect of it. So I'm not going to talk about like how important gamification is or it increases engagement. You can find that on the website. The main thing people want gamification is it dramatically increases engagement. Okay. So a quick word about me. So I started my life as my working life as a software developer. I worked for Microsoft, and then I was like, I'm really interested in game. I want to turn that into passion. So I joined PopCat and running game services that had millions of players. I did it in China and US, and then I co-founded my own indie game publisher. And consulted on over 50 games. Now I'm doing my own consulting service as well, design product for game developers. I'm also getting involved in gamification projects now. So I've been in game industry for over 7 years, and I found more and more of that principles being applied to other projects. Okay, what is gamification? Okay, can somebody give me a quick thinking of what you think gamification is? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Applying principles of games to non-game processes.
Yeah, that's a great definition. You already touched 2 out of 3 elements of the definition. So we're talking about the use of game elements, one thing. Secondly, the use of game design techniques, or you can say game thinking. And thirdly, in non-game context. It can't be a game. If it's just a game, it's a game. It's not gamification. So it has to be non-game context, okay? So let's look at an example. I don't know if anybody recognizes this. Anybody recognize this app? This is called Zombies Run. Okay, so I don't run very much. And so I was like, okay, I'm interested in running better. And so I downloaded this app called Zombies Run that incorporates a storyline of you being chased by zombies. And it has all the gamification elements we can think of. So first of all, let's go back to definition again. It's a non-game context. Okay. Ultimately, this app is not a game. It's an app to help you run better. Okay. And second elements, the game elements. Okay, what we're talking about, what are game elements? I will explain game elements more in detail later, but let's quickly look at it, right? It has storyline. You probably can't see very well. It says mission. Okay, so it has a mission system. That's one game element. Linear progression is also a game element because it has levels. On the left-hand side, it has a base. Okay, so you can build up your base, supposedly abandoned base. You're running away from zombies to save that base, you know? So you're supposed to help build up this base with collection you collected on your run. Okay, so that's another game element, building up of the base. If anybody played any game involving building base, you will know that's a game element. And the third element of this definition is game design technique, okay? And that's important because if I simply slap on mission, I simply slap on points, that doesn't always work. Okay, so game design technique in here is what we call it a loop, right? Game loop. What does that mean? So if I go run, I collect things. Okay. When I collect things, I can make it I can use that thing, collectible, turn it into some parts of the base. So I can expand my population in the base. You know, my population looks happier because there's actually a smiley face on there, 62% if you can see that. So my population becomes happier if I turn more and more infrastructure stuff like farming, like communication tower for my township. Okay, and then I can keep collecting more things, keep feeding into my base, and I can upgrade my base. So it becomes a loop, a self-feeding loop, if you like. Okay, so that's what we call it game design technique. And that's one way, one of game design techniques. Game design techniques is a very huge topic. I'm not going to be able to cover that in today's class, but I'm going to talk a lot more about game elements. And I'm going to talk a lot more about player motivation. Because ultimately, game works because of emotion. Okay? Game works because you are targeting squarely at the emotions of that person. That's why game works. Okay, so let's jump straight into gamification process. I want this to be really practical, and please, if you have any questions, just ask me. Right, so this is a very simplified gamification process, okay? So first of all, you have to determine, looking at your project, talk about your business objective. What exactly is your business objective? And define that in terms of, okay, what are the desired behavior I want to come out of that business objective, or in line with that business objective? Okay, for example, when a business comes to you, like, I want a gamification project, and they usually say, I want to increase engagement. Okay, define exactly what engagement means to that site. Okay, maybe the business wants, it's a news site, they want more news readership. Okay, or they want people spending more time on each news piece or on their site, or looking at more news pieces per session. So that's, if they just tell you engagement, that's not concrete. You need them to give you concrete business objective. Secondly, then you can extract the desired behavior out of that. Okay, you desire the people, or in this term, consumers or users or players, whatever you like to call them, to do more of that. Okay, you design a behavior, you talk about this behavior, say, do you want people to do more of that? Which I will give you in that case study. I will send out hand out later. You will go through that case study. Then, from that desired behavior, you really think about, okay, what are the player motivation or user motivation I can target? And from that, you use the game element. Okay, obviously you link the whole thing through the game thinking, game design techniques for a very simple process. That's how you go through. Right, let's go there. Let's do that one by one. Okay, business objective aside, let's talk about desired behavior. So, a simple answer to this question: how do we change behavior? Just one simple answer. How do we change behavior? How do we change somebody's behavior?
Sticks and carrots.
Thank you. That's one way. Yeah, it's negative reinforcement.
Measure it.
Sorry?
Measure it.
Measure it. Measure it doesn't change it necessarily. You do measure it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. You need to measure it so you can compare before and after.
Setting a goal.
Setting go, that's very good. Yeah, that's very good. That's part of it. Ultimately, the most potent thing to change somebody's behavior is this. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. That's the most potent way to change somebody's behavior. Let me show you a video quickly to demonstrate this point. I'm just going to grab this quickly. Okay. And I think if you can take one thing away today, is you have to first think of fun. Okay.
But I guess it will be fun for the first week. But after that, I guess it will change.
That's why there need to be more things. You're absolutely right. There need to be more things than that.
Yeah.
We're talking
second
about.
step, just turn off the escalator.
Just turn off the escalator.
Yeah, that will be a problem towards the.
Then there will be a lot of complaints, I'm sure. So
That's not fun.
You know, stick a carrot, and I absolutely agree with you. This also modifies behaviour. I think fun. What we're discovering is fun is more intrinsic, so it's a more positive reinforcement. So what I want to do now is I want to maybe you can get into group of 3. Choose somebody just beside you. Group of 3. I'm handing out case study, and what we want to do is we want to go through a quick case study. Okay, of the first step of the process. Okay, so come on, group, freely. Go.
I lost my question.
I'm not doing it.
Not doing?
I'm live streaming.
Oh,
So I.
Okay. So this is very simple case study. We don't have that much time, so I obviously won't give you a very complicated case study. So I guess anybody would have been on food review site, right? So this is case study about food review site. And the first question is think about what are the design behaviours based on the business objectives we just talked about in a case study. And think about using imaginations, how can we turn them into fun activities? Okay, so you will have, let me look at the time, you will have 5 minutes.
increase the amount of reviews and increase the volunteering of information.
Thank you for reading. Just a small introduction about myself and what we're doing here while the group discussion is going on. I'm at GA Melbourne. GA is a global tech startup education company. It started in New York and I'm in the Melbourne branch. And my name is Atula Boguda. I'm the lead organizer of Melbourne Silicon Beach, which is a tech startup community on meetup.com. If you Google Melbourne Silicon Beach, you'll find us. And this is the campus of Melbourne campus of GA. And we're having this gamification class tonight, which is a very important way of making your startup or app idea interesting. So let's go back.
And maybe it maybe it ranks contributors.
Yeah, I think leveling up is much this way you can be creative and have more of a foodie every time you write actual food critic. You get a special badge. Like actually
But maybe it's some kind of an application where people post their meal and general experience and one sentence.
Would you like more points for feedback?
What is the case study? I'll just show it to people.
Focus has been out.
Yeah, it's hard to focus. On YouTube, people can fast forward. I don't mess around with editing and things like that. Try to keep things simple.
But if that reward is so sometimes it's like a free drink or something. So you don't know
Alright, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Yeah, okay, where is right.
Okay, let's come back. So, who wants to volunteer? Want to volunteer? Oh, thank you.
Great. Okay, so I think I've missed maybe a few principles, but
Yes.
software
That's fine.
engineer and digital producer, hopefully they kind of.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. So, what are the first question? What are the desired behaviour from this? Yeah. Yes.
So, okay, so we're trying. So we'll understand like these kind of food review places. They're trying to understand the motive.
Yeah.
So what was the question? The motive of the user or the motive of
The design.
Okay. We're not talking about motivation yet. We're talking about from this business objectives.
Okay, so
What are desired behaviour you want customers to repeat and repeat?
so you want people to go into more places, try new things,
Yes.
go back to the same places, and try different
Tell
sort of
their
menu,
friends.
tell their friends, share on
Yes.
social media. So trying to get that kind of social network going and building that data repository that you want.
Yeah, and preferably on your site. The review on your site. Yeah, exactly.
We kind of came up with a kind of points theory where if people were to meet the business objective, if people were to leave reviews, then let's say they get 10 points. If people were to share photos, they get 20 points.
Okay.
It's a leaderboard to help kind of challenge people to motivate them. And then I don't know if the word's hidden gems. So we're saying if you go to a particular restaurant and you order like a mango pudding, and then the waiter's just like, here's some bonus points, and it gives you that extra like level of delight.
That's great. I love that idea. That's great. So the point system is a system that I will talk about later, and it's a level on top of the behavior. Actually, it's an extrinsic reward system. Okay. What I'm looking for at the moment for desired behavior, making into a fun activity, is to make the actual activity intrinsically fun. Okay, so points on top of that, but how do we make the actual leaving a review activity, as well as telling the site more information about business, more fun? Okay. How about this group?
Yeah, sort of along the same lines.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
But
there was a lot of talk around leveling up and getting different, badge levels and things over time. But
make it visual.
But also we're thinking maybe turning the stars, for instance, into bananas or something, and we or something.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We also had a variation on that, a sort of visual thing like a plate of food, and every time you added a bit of information in a review, you got a bite out of that plate of food. And your goal was to try and clean the plate.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, intrinsically making that activity fun. And what you said before, like going to a restaurant, there's a surprise, and that's intrinsically fun. Have anybody used this Slack?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Did anybody know that Slack was a game company? Yes. Great. All right. So, what do you see when you first Slack would be the most boring team communication tool if you think about it. It's messaging, right?
What's Slack?
Oh, it's a team communication tool.
Alright.
So basically, I can have my whole team in one. It's basically chatting, but in the team context. So it sounds really boring, right?
Like Skype, you can have channels and you can filter things.
Yeah, and then rooms and stuff like that. So, does anybody know, do you feel fun when you log into Slack? Right, what do they do?
Well, the login screen, it has some inspirational quote.
Yes.
And then when you log in, the colours are nice and bright.
Beautiful.
Slackbot randomly comes into my conversations and tells me
absolutely. That's intrinsic, making the activity fun. Okay, so I log into Slack today, and it tells me, now you are here. The day just got more beautiful. As simple as that. Now you're here. Okay, makes it more rewarding and fun for me to log in. Another small feature you can type /Giphy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you need that? That's a team chat tool, you don't need that. So if you type /Giphy, it injects random GIFs and funny GIFs. Just random. As just funny GIFs of the day or whatever. They don't have to do that. They don't. But why do they do that? It's intrinsically making that fun. So even before adding any point system, batch system, game elements, I want you to think how you can make the actual behavior more fun. And for example, we talk about food review sites. Surprise is a good fun. Another thing is for example, you can make this behavior of leaving a review, even little visual feedback. Wow, you're great. Wow, you're such a foodie. Little visual feedback like that just makes people feel, that's interesting, that's very nice, thank you. That's making it more fun. Little things make a big difference. Okay, next, player motivation. That's key. That's very key. So when you design game elements, you have to first think about what kind of motivation are you targeting? Because as I said before, why game works, why gamification works, it's because it targets your emotional core. Okay, so you have to understand the behavior and motivation. Sorry, you have to understand motivation first, because behavior comes from motivation. So this is a simple framework. There are a lot of different frameworks. I found this work quite well. This is a framework of, call it RAMP, I-A-M-P, of different player motivation. Okay, you can probably relate to one of those. By the way, one player can be more than one category, okay, because you can be across categories. So first, socializer, okay, they are the people who love to explore relationships. Okay? They are the people who are in your site helping others, finding out about your site. Okay, if you use a site or food review site as an example. They love to make more friends. They love to see how many followers I have. Okay, they get motivated by that. Right? So these are the socializers. The next category, free spirit people. Okay. They like to be creative. They like to be autonomous. So they are the people who explore the boundary of your site. Okay, explore things that's not linear. Right? They will try to go, oh, your new feature, what is that? Oh, you have like a poke thing. Can I try that? You know, they are the one exploring. And they are your strongest ally if you have user-generated content in your site, and because they are really creative. So you've got to support them to be creative. That's free spirit. Achiever, they're your chess player. Okay. They love to understand every single rule of playing chess. And they want to master every single thing. Okay. They love badges. They go like, okay, I have done such and such. You know, I want to show off now. You know, I'm the master of this. So they are the achiever. The last word, purpose, philanthropist. They're actually a little bit harder to target because they've got to believe in you. Okay, you've got to be aligned with your purpose. But if you have sort of, say, you are organic produce, and they really believe in that purpose, they are the best, your best ally. They will go out, be your champion.
They have some moral connection to your business.
Yes,
Even
they stand with you.
It can be barriers, but you have to be careful not to.
Yes, there have to be some sort of identification with you. So it's a little bit more intrinsic. So, you know, if they morally object to your cause, then they won't stand with you, no matter what game elements you put in. But you can put game elements to support this group as well, if you have a good cause that you know people will support. Okay, quick question. For people who play game, what is your player type? Anybody from that list can see your own player type straight away? You're nodding your head. What's your play type?
I'm probably a cross between relatedness and mastery.
Oh, great.
Socializer, achiever.
Okay, could you quickly explain in your game, how do you play it?
Fitbit is the app that I like to check every game. And steps and exercise. So socializer, there's challenges where I can challenge my friend.
Competitive. Yes.
And achievers, the badges. I check my badges. If there's a badge, it's like you are 5,000 steps away. I'm like, I will run to the train station.
Yes,
And I will
fantastic.
get that badge.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to have a case study again for what we were talking about just then. Go back to the ramp and think about what are some player types you can identify in this case study, okay, a food review site. What kind of people can you identify who goes on this sort of site? Okay, so let's give it shorter this time, 3 minutes. Let's go.
I reckon our greatest ally is going to be the socializing, because they want people who care about what other people think. That's
The scary is the red
I guess unless it's you know, organic food, something like that.
exactly.
Morally, to have autonomy would be great. Certainly with like the photograph thing, who wants autonomous to do that, just or somebody who's really curious about what happens when you get there.
There's some way that you can have kind of engage one another.
I suppose the mastery type are the ones who are going to won't stop it until it's like
You know what I mean? That's tough.
I love your example. I'll do it
I want to be noted in
Alright, 1 minute.
It's actually good. We're gonna have a really fun website based around like sage and that.
Alright, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. The next bit is pretty heavy, so I'll go into the next bit quite soon. I overheard you, so I wanted you to go first. Okay, please go ahead. Your example.
Yeah, I'm really connected to the free spirit because I love to try out new things and especially new foods.
Yes.
And a philanthropist because I feel there's some businesses, especially restaurants, that I really love, and sometimes they close. It happens a lot in the restaurant. There was some places I really regret they're closed, and I was ready to invest money just to help them. So we talked about it, and we thought of an idea that maybe I can do it. It's a bit of a game between friends or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I give this restaurant, I give them 5% tip, or I eat there twice a day, and I post it with a check. And my friends say, you know, I eat in that restaurant, I give them 20% tip.
Wow.
I eat them a lot. I don't care. I spend twice a day. I eat there twice a day every week. So it's kind of competition between friends. Who's the most crazy person? Who does the most crazy stuff?
Okay.
In a
That's
restaurant.
a great example. I love your example between with the free spirit as well as philanthropists. Great examples. Remember those examples because later on, the last one, we'll talk about game elements related to those examples. Okay, anybody else? I think the group on. Oh, okay.
So we had a similar kind of idea as basically everyone else seems to have had, except that we, would like to incorporate a leaderboard element into the design of the website.
Okay.
And so basically you get peer likes and things such as Facebook, which then goes to its ranking system leaderboard.
Yeah.
So going on from that, in terms of your latest question, really you could target all forward with the socializer that would obviously like being part of that community where they get likes.
Yeah.
The master would want people up in terms of how they score on this leaderboard. The philanthropist would probably like to support restaurants they see as doing good or that they're loyal to. Honestly, they're really there.
Yeah.
And we thought for the autonomous individual, you'd obviously need to build in a level of intrigue.
Yeah.
Possibly new features as well, and create the ability for them to get creative feedback also.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll talk a little bit about leaderboard because, it's been mentioned several times. So when I go into the game elements, I'll talk a little bit more in detail. It wasn't in my original presentation, but since I said earlier. So there are definitely advantage and disadvantage in leaderboard. And the reason why I said focus on the player types first is not because that we don't want to concentrate on game elements, we should, but you need to understand how game element affects each player type. Okay, because some game elements works better with one player type, but actually alienate other game player type. So there is a degree of measurement you have to go after you finish up with your project for sure. Like, that's not in my talk, but there is a degree of measurement, follow up, and then optimize. Similar to a game, but any project you should keep optimizing until you hit the right combination of the elements. Okay, next let's talk about going to the game elements. Yay! Alright, so everybody knows the game elements, okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk through them. There will be badges, rewards are like points and reward and things like that. I'm going to quickly talk through them, okay. Everybody knows badges, right? It's basically something like an icon that rewards you for completing certain things, right? Reward are points. So the reason why simply reward somebody points that they don't necessarily work is people need to care about those points. That points need to go into something. Yeah, so if people don't care about the things you're rewarding them, it quickly becomes just a random exercise of giving them meaningless things. Okay, so if you use reward points, make sure it goes to something. All right. Level, so leveling up. Level actually can mean both that there are different stages in your site, like in a map, or it could mean a physical user leveling up. You know, on level 1, if I accumulate certain points, I'm now level 2. And so this is a sense of progression, basically. I'm progressing through things. A sense of progression is very important for people because people like to have goals. And they know, okay, I'm here, but now I'm there. You know, so they know they're further ahead than before. Team, so there will be team mechanic, like any, for example, group of you will become a team of certain things. And that's another mechanic to incorporate more social interaction within the team. And usually social is very important. If your gamification project doesn't have social, you have to think twice. Okay. What we found in game is any games with social almost always do better than games without social.
What do you mean by social? Is it as simple as sharing your achievement?
No. Yeah.
Or is it multiplayer?
So,
what aspects of social?
Yeah, the sharing is weak social, what we call it.
Yep.
Weak social, especially after Facebook has done their logic algorithm about feed, it doesn't work as well. So it has to be certain meaningful interaction within the game, and within gamification project we're talking about within the site. As meaningful, like I'm asking somebody's question, somebody can give me back response. They're actual interaction, exactly. So we have found through research and lots of data, as you know, game accumulates so much data. Like I once did a project, like within a week, we accumulate 2 million events. Yeah, that's how much data we collect in games. It's huge. So we accumulate so much data, we understand that certain things will do better than others. Similarly, with gamification, if you don't have any social interaction, it's not the end of the world, but you probably, it has to fit the site, of course, but you probably won't do as well. Okay, so some sort of meaningful social interaction. Challenge. Okay, challenge basically is some sort of task I ask you to do. Okay. It could be random or could be scheduled. Like, it could be seasonal. So this is Valentine's Day challenge, okay? It could be random, like where you say like going to a restaurant and all of a sudden something comes up. What we found is a meaningful interaction, like a challenge instead of just say, randomly pop out, you want this. It's much better for people to complete a simple task, even how simple it is, because people feel they earned it. Okay, random works very, very well, but if it's like a simple task, You know, it doesn't have to be long, it can be a couple of things, you know, a couple of clicks or whatever. But it works better than just rewarding them something. Because they actually feel like, oh, first of all, it's a surprise. I'm so happy I'm getting this. But second of all, I've earned it. You know? So it creates a lot more reinforcement in the behavior. So these are the game elements in general. So how does it relate back to the motivation, right? Here is the big thing, okay? It's a big graph, so I'm going to talk this through. Socializer first. Okay, socializer, we talk about relatedness, right? Socializer, they enjoy, if you look at the bottom of the circle, that's their motivation, that's what they get motivated by, people fun. Okay, they like to enjoy fun with other people together, they like to play together. So social fun and socializer and typically game elements that appeal to them is something that them communicating, okay, cooperating, even competing. And leaderboard is a very typical element of competing. Right, it's a very typical element of competing. The problem with leaderboard is it depends on how you structure it. Let's say you have a global leaderboard. Okay? Generally, the motivation is the highest for the top visible 10-20 people. After 10-20 people, the motivation to get that down leaderboard, because they're not generally visible, is less and less. So leaderboard is used in context being most effective is it combined with some sort of segmentation. Okay, so everybody wins in certain contexts. It's like, okay, for this segment, okay, like maybe local, you know, Geelong leaderboard, or maybe, you know, location-based leaderboard, or maybe new user leaderboard or whatever. So if you segment this, it's better. If you combine with leveling up, it's even better. You know, you go, okay, here is your new user league, here is my leaderboard, because it's not fair to compete with people who've been on site for a while, right? So here's my new user leaderboard, but you can level up to the other one, and then you have another leaderboard. So that's much more effective. So leaderboard can be used definitely in a socializer context. Another one is achiever, goals, obstacles, strategy. So achiever actually is very much motivated by obstacles, okay, by challenges. Okay, so a challenge works very well with achiever. Badges work very well with achiever because they almost love to collect all sorts of badges, and they love to boast about, oh, this is how many things I've done, you know, like. So achiever, if you give them goals, obstacles, they work very, very well. Okay, so next, free spirit, I'm going that way. Free spirit. So they enjoy, also achiever enjoy hard fun, and it has to be hard. Otherwise, you don't, you know, they're not like, they can't show off, I'm really, really good, you know? Oh, okay, the funny thing is, anybody know esports? You know, esports? Have you heard of esports? It's almost all achiever, hard fun. So esports are becoming the biggest, starting to quickly become the biggest segment. Basically, it's people coming together to watch the best people in games to play. Okay, and they call it esports. They're actually going to apply to Olympics or something for that segment. For example, big multiplayer game like League of Legends will have, millions or millions of dollar tournament called esports. And that's hard fun. It's the best people in the world to compete with each other. So achiever is definitely that type. Free spirit. Okay, free spirit, they like easy fun, but what exactly I mean by easy fun is like, first of all, if it's too challenging, you might turn them away, because they don't like too linear, too much things that in their way, but they like to explore. If you have many options and you show them, there could be another area you could go, and maybe sometime remind them there'll be new things in there. They love new things. Okay, they will go there. And if you let them express their creativity, another great way is avatar. Okay, if you allow them to express their creativity, in some way, they'll stick with you. So personalization, creativity, exploration, game elements work very well with this type. Okay, the last type, philanthropist, serious one. Okay, so we talk about they've got purpose, right? They really have a purpose. And we just had a great example that I don't want that restaurant to close, right? So they really like to help other people to be on the same purpose, on the same team as them, you know? Like, so if I really believe in that cause, I don't care what I need to do. I will be there. You know, like Quora has a lot of them, by the way. If anybody uses Quora here? Anybody uses Quora? Nobody uses Quora? Wow, okay, I love Quora. It has a lot of them. Quora is a question and answer forum. It's basically a forum, right? But there are people who passionately defend their answers. Like, if you ask, you know, like their serious topic, like, what's the recent one? Like American president, like that's a hot topic, right? Trump. And why should we elect one person or the other, right? Somebody will provide an answer, and seriously defending their answers will start arguing everybody else. You know, and they are the one who look for upvote, because Quora has upvote on there, and try to get people around them to form an army to defend their answer. They will spend the most time if they believe in the cause. Alright, so in a way, right, these two, socializer achiever can be more motivated by extrinsic reward, like your point system, your leveling up, your badge. They're more, they can be motivated more by that. But these two is a little bit harder.
They go against the system. That's unstructured.
Exactly. They sort of go against the system. So when you design your system, right, like you go, but if they really believe in you, they have to want spending the most time to become your loyal following. Yeah.
So would you target all of those characteristics? Or
in this case study, I will.
Yeah.
So
what's the most? Which ones retain in the game the most?
Yes. Okay. It depends on different side. Okay.
Of course.
So, but in general, intrinsic always wins the extrinsic. Okay. So those two, in general, if you allow them to exist in your site, would usually win over extrinsic reward types. Okay. Yes, because they usually spend the most time. And if you create an ecosystem, you actually don't have to do too much for this two group, because they ultimately find their place in your system. Okay, so for example, like I give you an example of Quora, and the free spirit, the exploration, creativity, and fantasy is part. I won't go into that for most sides. But they are the one that on most, I don't know, YouTube is the biggest, most obvious example, right? It's creativity. It's all about creativity. If I have the right format, allowing people to upload the content themselves, they will fill it up. They are the free spirit. Okay, but then you need to encourage them by showing a way for people to rate the video, for people to like it, for people to pass it on, because they are encouraged by that. They're like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, you know, like, so these people are the most powerful people. But extrinsic reward, you can use your game elements to target those people more. These people, you can support them with game elements, not necessarily like getting them in the door, because you've got to have intrinsically something there, but you can support them. Okay, so let's quickly talk about, we talked about these game elements, right? I'll give you 3 examples here. Okay, this is Nike exercise program. Okay, so can you identify the game element here?
Minutes of exercise?
Yeah, this is minutes of exercise. There is my screen here. Yeah. It's a level. Yeah, it's the next milestone. Yes.
So you've got progress, like at the top.
Exactly, progression. Okay. What kind of player type appeal to? Oh, she just said it actually.
Achiever.
Yes, it's achiever. Yeah, it's achiever type. They have badges as well. You know, for exercise program, appealing to achiever is very good because, you know, like they are the people who care about progression. They are the people who care about achieving the next milestone. This one is a headspace. It's I don't know if you know this one. It's a meditation program app. Okay, it has some game elements in there. Can you identify game elements there? Levels, great. Look at that other social. Yes, buddies. Okay, so they also encourage. Also another thing, okay, I want to stress, their levels is very linear, very linear. Okay.
Structured.
Yes, very structured. Okay, so it works against Explorer, right? But, you know, the reason why linear is pretty good, that's part of game design tips. Linear is very good at the beginning because anybody to come to a new system, they get overwhelmed and they don't have any identification. They don't identify with your system yet. You know, so you're asking them to make a lot of choices at the beginning. Well, it doesn't matter what player type, they're not going to like it. You know, I'm already thinking too much. I only have like 3 minutes on my phone. Average session on phone is about 2-3 minutes. You know, I only have 3 minutes on my phone. Why do you want me to make so many choices? Okay, so especially at the beginning, linear will be pretty good. And making them go through the initial hump of the onboarding process. And when they get to use more of your system, they actually have exploration. And once you open up their 10 levels, they actually expand into library. Yeah, so that's how you do it. You lead them into a linear process to get over the hump, building that habit, and getting them to understand your program. And linear is very good at building habit. And then put them into...
Manage their addiction.
Yeah. And then put them... This is actually pretty good. It's a meditation, so even though it's happy for me, it's good for you. And then go into exploration. Okay, the last one, Tinder. Everybody knows Tinder, right? I hope everybody knows Tinder. Okay, so what game elements can you see there? At the time.
Create.
Yes. Yes, you can be, that's absolutely right. Like most people don't spot that. Yeah, that's good. And
Social.
Yeah, social. Yeah, it's inherently social. I would agree with that. And what the game elements are in there? The key one.
Master.
Reward. Okay. Reward.
Okay. Social element, the like and dislike. And
yes.
so
Yeah.
Inside social.
Yes, it's inside social. Absolutely, I agree. It's inherently social. But the game elements, it's very easy to get reward. Okay.
For women, not for men.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yes.
Because we always swipe left, and
yeah.
we just seem to swipe right. Like there's a study done about.
Yeah, men always swipe right. Yeah, I agree with you. So it's also inherently rewarding in the way it works. You know, it's swiping motion because you feel like, whoop, whoop. Like it's inherently. It's hard to explain, but the motion itself is satisfying and addictive. Yeah, and power, exactly. So I think, like I said, first of all, concentrate on making the desired behavior fun first. And they did that. Okay? The actual behavior of choosing a person you want to date, that's the actual behavior, okay? Points, badges, leaderboard on one level on top of that. Okay, that's how you retain people. That's what we call it, okay, in game term, what we call it the bottom one, game mechanic. The one on top, like points, badges, and things like that, we call it metagame. Okay, so it's on top of that. So they make the swiping, the choosing dating is inherently fun. And then they make another layer on top of that is, yeah, it's rewarding once you get a match, because remember that screen? You get a match! You know, it's very exaggerated. You know, you get a match. You know, it feels rewarding. And it leads straight into, do you want a message? Straight away. So it is very simple, but very well designed process. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to finish with case study. I'm running a bit late. So can you identify, because I use this as an example because we nearly have all the game elements we talked about. So, game elements. What can you see? Badges. Badges, great. What is that?
That's also rating.
Points, yes.
Is that
And, yeah?
Avatars?
Yes, avatar, great. You actually can choose an avatar. Yes.
Achiever, because it's got learn programming.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is a little bit overwhelming, so I wouldn't do that off the bat. To me, this system is a little bit overwhelming because it designed too many things straight away. It's much better if you focus on one thing first and then just review gradually. Remember what I talked about not giving too many choices at the beginning? Yeah, so review those things gradually. This is my first day. As you can see, it's 0 day. I know it's this. That's really confusing. Okay. But anyway, it shows lots of game elements we we're talking about. So, lastly, let's look into your game, into your case study. What game elements could we use for each player type in the case study? Remember, we identified those player type previously in the exercise before. Now think about game elements specifically for food review site for the player type we just described. Okay, so it's 3 minutes and then we're finished.
So your pie is very pleasing for the achiever. That feels good. It's completionist. The photograph challenge.
Let me go back to game elements. Here.
You want to be able to try different stuff. What else do we have in explore?
They believe in the restaurant.
One minute.
Start getting, all 3 of their recommendations. They get something and you get something. So if you agree with that person, yeah. You can have a social
Alright, let's wrap it up. Okay. Who wants to give me an example for socializer? Game element for the food review side. Yes.
We were thinking of having a mechanic where you follow, you find someone whose taste you trust.
Yes.
And so if you sort of also review 3 things that they have reviewed, then both of you maybe get a...
Oh, like a team based.
Like a team, so you kind of become a team with the people whose opinions you trust.
That's great. Yeah, very good idea. Very good idea. Also, if you are an expert, for example, like if you're classified, lots of food review site has expert status, right? What if like being an expert, one way to become an expert is leading somebody into the door, you know? So go, okay, this area I'm an expert in, like I can suggest this to you, and then it contributes back to your status. So that's one way also, meaningful social interactions. Achiever, who can give me achiever type? Okay, another one for achiever.
We come up with being able to rate the rating.
Yes.
Achievers probably want to see themselves as being some sort of food critic and leave quite a detailed response, and being able to have then the ability for others to rate how useful that was or how much they appreciate it or something.
So Yelp has, which is definitely a game element, has a VIP club of people who are actually the highest status, like expert status, and they go into the special league. You know, being an achiever also appeals to socialize as well. Being an achiever, I really want that. And also you can, in order to encourage more people, as I said before, like Leaderboard, for example, encourage quite a few people, but if you want to encourage more people, you might have achievement for different areas, you know, like expert in, you know, Flinders Lang, expert in Asian cuisine, expert in blah, blah, blah. So more people can be expert in something, you know, so that's achiever. Also badges, obviously badges will help with achiever status. Free spirit, that's actually very good for a
we
food design.
had thought about someone who discovers new things, like an explorer of new countries, new restaurants.
Yeah.
So he will be, if you get reward for this participation in the app, that'll be something to draw.
Yeah. For example, claim the site. You know, like if I'm the first one ever discover the restaurant and write a review about it, I claim the site. How cool is that? That really encourages explorer.
The discoverer.
Yeah, the discoverer, you know, and I become, you know, crowned as how many discovery I've done, you know. So this is actually food review site. It's really good for food. The last one? Anybody? Oh, you should have an example. You are the one who really defends
We're talking
restaurant.
about tips and restaurants that you like and you want to support.
Yes.
There are also social restaurants like vegetarian and other things that people would like to support your cause by what you're doing. So if you can engage other people from your community of idealists. Like
you could build in options of, like, say, defending the restaurant or something like that. So in addition to review, maybe you can offer option for people to talk about, to freely talk about what they really, really like the restaurant, support the restaurant, and maybe start a course of giving them more tips, like you said, you know. So I think, you know, both food review sites are actually very good for the last 2 types, you know. So,
Do negative things still count as a philanthropist? Because I know many people who like will take it on themselves as, you know, their mission to tear down a bad restaurant. Is that the same category?
It's the same category. Purpose, basically. I have a purpose. Yes, absolutely.
It's interesting what you said, because many people, there was a discussion about Facebook doing a dislike button or something like that.
Right, yes.
And the way social games and games at all try to not go there.
You just have to be careful with those negative comments for sure. But that's a purpose as well. So, okay, so we got a wrap up. Just to summarize, Here is the process. Remember this process, okay? When you first go through a gamification process, that's the most simple form of process, okay? Think about identifying in detail what business objectives are, then come out with the behavior you want people to repeat again and again, okay? And make it fun. Yeah, that's actually, don't skip that. Make it fun. Make it as much fun as you can. Then you look at player motivation combined with game elements. What kind of player that you can target. Because probably you can even get data from the site before you've designed a gamification project, so you can relate to, okay, what kind of behavior or player are most likely to be on those sites. Okay, and then target them with the right game elements. Then measure and repeat until you get the optimal experience. Cool. Any last minute question? Yes.
Will you be sending this back out to us all?
I think they will send out I will send it to General Assembly, and I think they will send out. So yeah, they usually do that. Yeah. Any other questions?
I'll send the link to the live stream as well, so you can watch
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions?
Well, I'd probably not take it offline, but I'd be really interested how you might overset these concepts into existing processes. So if you look at, traditional a call center, for example, how you might look at that particular process and how to implement gamification over existing boring.
Yeah, you will still go through similar process in terms of extracting a behavior you want to engage. That's still the number one thing. Okay, because ultimately gamification, for example, the things you can't gamify is one-time process. Okay, it's really, you can make it more fun, like onboarding process or whatever. You can make it more fun. But because it's not a repetitive behavior, it just go through once, you probably don't want to gamify it because it costs more money than the benefit you get, really. So it's really something that's repetitive behavior, and you want to use that, make it more engaged, make it more fun, and repeat that behavior. So if you look at game, it's all repeated behavior. It's not just repeated behavior, but it's like different variation of the repeated behavior. So yeah, it's similar process, but we can talk more offline about, maybe you can give me a concrete example. Okay, cool.
I have a question.
Yeah,
do you think people should learn specifically about gamification, or just be aware of the facts when they use it in, I don't know, web development, social development?
Yes.
How would you recommend people know the subject better?
Yeah, gamification started becoming a separate subject because it is outside of, because I know we have software developer, we have producer, a digital producer. It is outside of that because it involves game thinking, which is critical. Game thinking is critical. I'm only talking about process today. Game thinking is a long-term subject. It's very long term.
Is it related to design thinking?
Design, game design thinking. Perhaps, you can clarify that. It's a lot more about how to control the psychology of balancing. Game design and design thinking is all about balancing, really. That's a much longer subject, and I don't think you can do just within a software development discipline. Yeah, it's a little bit on top of that. But it has become increasingly important because we know the next generation, they are just gamers. There's no distinction between gamers and non-gamers.
If a product you do will have gamification in it, it will be more successful than other products.
In general, unless you apply it wrong. Because most time people just put game elements on it and don't do game thinking. And that's usually what happens. Because if you do it wrong, it actually encourages another behavior. Negative behavior that you don't necessarily want. But there is a whole discipline also measure and then optimize, which isn't talked about in general in gamification subject, which isn't very good. Because definitely follow up process. No worries, thank you. That's great. I love it when you say it's fun. That's good.
Do you have any books you could recommend? Or
I have several books I can recommend. Maybe I'll send it along with the email to the group. Yeah, I have several books I can recommend.
Thank you very much. Very
no
good.
Worries. Thank you. Thank you. Next time. Honestly, I was thinking of gamifying my class one time. It's not repeating behaviour.
Thank you, Christian.
No worries.